So we'll be reacting to a debate about pro-life, pro-choice, the age-old conversation that will just not go away. Before we hop into today's video, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you enjoyed this content, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like this video. Definitely would appreciate that.
I do believe every woman has the right to choose. God gives us the opportunity to choose. He just simply says choose life. So I am just saying, God says that shedding the innocent blood is an abomination, and we will pay that price once we meet him, because we will meet our maker eventually.
I would like to say, though, that I do identify as somebody. I grew up, my family is Protestant and half of my family is Jewish. When you're trying to argue the fact that you're a Christian and stuff, well, so am I. When you're saying biblical terminology and biblical facts, this is a thing that has been changed 1,000 times.
So I'm just going to pause it right here just real quick. So she's saying, in her argument, it's like, okay, where you're throwing out the Bible, but I'm a Christian too. So this goes into like a previous conversation that I was having about being a Christian is not necessarily the same as following Christ. And people are going to feel a way about that, but that is the truth. I think we are really seeing a divide in the sand especially when it comes to morals, principles, when it comes to a way of life that is cohesive and really should mimic the way that Christ walked. It's very clear that people can, they can easily say, well, I'm a Christian too. But then when it comes to, okay, where do you fall on, point A, point B, point C, where do you fall when it comes to these particular, topics? Then the Bible has been changed 1,000 times,
By 1,000 different men.
The Bible is written like poetry, as symbolism. It's illustrative, and you're also interpreting the word.
Back in the Puritan days, that if you actually got pregnant and you don't know who the father is, you are considered shunned, an outcast, especially if you're unmarried. But if you're married and you have a baby, it's all...
She gives me... when she said back in the Puritan days, I really believe she's talking about like the Scarlet Letter. I feel like she's talking about the Scarlet Letter. No, there wasn't abortions in the Bible. Okay, that's A. There was no abortions in the Bible. So you're talking about Puritan days. You're still talking about a different time frame to where people began to do whatever they wanted to do, and then they felt the consequences from the society around them. So when we're speaking about the Bible, don't throw in the Puritan days, okay, because that is irrelevant to when we're talking about a foundational body of work that if you live by it, you will have peace. You're gonna be walking in a way. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have any hard times. It doesn't mean you're not going to make any mistakes. It just means that your life will be cohesive and less chaotic, which is what we see today. But the last young lady, she said the Bible is written like poetry. I'm willing to, I don't bet, but I'm willing to take an educated guess that she probably has only read the book of Psalms and the book of Proverbs. And I'm only saying this because this is what people do, instead of really dealing with the fact that, I may not be as versed as I should be in the Bible, or as versed as I want to be in the Bible. They take what they do know and they make an entire doctrine or an entire ideal based off of what they do know, which may be maybe 10 scriptures, and that's not to shun anyone. That's just to say that that's what people do when it comes to, okay, well, a woman shouldn't, really terminate her unborn child because this is murder according to the Most High God. Well, the Bible has been changed 1,000 times by 1,000 men. There's always some deflection.
Back in the Puritan days, that if you actually got pregnant and you don't know who the father is, you are considered shunned, an outcast, especially if you're unmarried. But if you're married and you have a baby, it's all...
Back to my first point when she's saying that, women would have been shunned in the Bible days. When we're speaking about biblically, there's actually a law, and it's one of my favorite laws, and it talks about how if a man, takes a woman and he lays with her. So we're speaking about an unmarried man, an unmarried woman. If he takes a woman and he lays with her, he should surely make her be his wife. Even when we fast forward and you hear about something called shotgun wedding, which referred to when a man was forced to marry a young lady that he impregnated. Why was this important? This was important to keep a family structure, and it also was important to make sure that that young lady did not become a single mother, you know. And you know, people, you know, take that and they feel like there's something wrong with, you know, the idea that, okay, you lay down with this woman and you have an obligation. The same way you feel like a woman, if she's struggling, she decides to have a baby, or she decides to have that child, she has the right to go and put that man on child support. That there should be the same level of responsibility for that woman to, you know, take care of that child that she has also contributed to. You know, this is a part of the conversation that's so lopsided, which is why I don't even know how this pro-life, pro-choice is really even a topic. And I'm surprised more men are not vocal about this, because a lot of times, well, you know, some men, I guess they don't care because, you know, they just want to, you know, get the pleasures for the moment and then go on about their business. So they don't really want to, you know, have that type of responsibility. Some men, I'll say, but you know,
you're married and you have a baby, it's all good. They will not look at you.
That's because women were only here to birth children and that was it.
So why, and this is like just the last little piece here. Why is it that acknowledging in this, you know, not every woman in the Bible had children, okay? And not every woman today will have children. That's just, you know, that's just what it is. But why is it a negative context around, well, a woman was created to have children? Just from a pure standpoint of the way life works, if you take every woman and every man and put them with the same sex, then that will be it. That's, I don't understand how that's not just logical, right? If every woman and every man only deal with the same sex, then that's the end of life. That is literally the end of life. So the conversation about, well, women were only here to, you know, have children, well, that's because that's what keeps life going. So it's just a very lopsided conversation. And the more I run across these little clips of, you know, these type of conversations, it's always going to be like just that one person that's like trying to, you know, stand on the word. And I think the first young lady did really good. I need to really find this entire clip, but you're going to be outnumbered. I think that's just in general. Even now, I think we can see that, you know, when you have certain conversations and you start to speak about, you know, things that go on in the world, and you start to speak about certain principles and values, and it's very clear that it's always going to be you're going to be amongst the few. If you really stand on this Bible, if you really believe what it says and you really try to live by it, whether you're at work or at the water cooler, be prepared to get some very odd looks, because this is the world that we live in. You know, the Bible is only convenient when it makes you feel good, when it makes people feel good. You know, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. No weapons formed against me shall prosper. These are things that make us feel good. It gets us through the tough days, right? But when I'm not going to go down to the clinic because God says that this is ending a life, then the Bible is irrelevant and 1,000 men have changed it. So that's the discrepancy. You know, I want to know what you think about this video. Feel free to comment below. You know, until next time, I will see you in the next video.